All right, this is going to be like the fastest college football minute, the fastest things, whatever these do, of all the headlines. I don't think people cover college sports that well anymore because it's all, ESPN's the NBA and the NFL, right? They're league partners. And yeah, sure, the NCAA is essentially a league partner with SEC Network, but, you don't really get to hear about too much of the storyline Saturday. You're kind of like, buzzed remembering them from a full Saturday of day drinking. And then there's NFL football and you forget everything that happened Saturday. So here it is, the fastest college football minute in sports here on Corbet's Corner. Let's do it. Alabama is making their move in the playoff. Watch out, Cincinnati. They win, but in a kind of a crappy way to beat a bad Navy team on the road. Did that hurt them? Alabama already leaps Oklahoma in the AP polls. Told you a couple weeks ago, watch Alabama make their way back, even though they lost to Texas A&M. Michigan State this weekend, battle of undefeateds, rivalry game. Mel Tucker taking over the Michigan State program. No one likes talking about Jim Harbaugh when he's doing well, right? Well, let's see if he can win this rivalry game. It's going to be a big one in the early morning slate for college football. Penn State loses to Illinois. Now they have Ohio State. Classic look-ahead spot. Wisconsin somehow still hanging around. They beat Purdue. They're favored at home versus Iowa. Iowa's a top 10 team, and they're a dog on the road. Classic Big Ten, just an absolute mess. Clemson and Mizzou, still the only two remaining winless against the number teams in college football. Clemson, 10-point favorite at home against Florida State, and Mizzou, a 16.5-point favorite at Vandy. Two stinky games. It's going to be interesting. Do you pull FSU at Death Valley? Clemson's terrible. Do you dare pull the Commodores? We know Mizzou's bad, right? Well, bad at covering. Vanderbilt's right there with them. They've only covered like twice. So two stinky numbers there for the two winless against the number teams in college football. Georgia. Well, Miami beats NC State. They'll head to Pitt. Pitt beat Clemson. How about that? So that's how Clemson remains winless against the numbers. They were 3-point dogs, and they look terrible at Pittsburgh. Georgia has the cocktail party, -14 in Jacksonville against the Gators. Gators don't look that great. Oklahoma avoids disaster at KU. They'll host Texas Tech, who just fired their head coach. 13-17 at Texas Tech. That gets him gone. Wake Forest drops 70 on our servicemen, Army in West Point, but they did give up 56. They're looking to go 8-0 for the first time in program history. They will be at home versus Duke. I think they do go to 8-0. Ole Miss at Auburn, a great matchup. Kentucky at Mississippi State, as the SEC will take center stage with a couple of good matchups, intriguing matchups. SMU, they are undefeated. They're at Houston, who's lost only one time this year. Could be a good game. Dana Holgerson and company coaching Houston against the undefeated SMU side. Tanner Mordecai could be there for the Heisman if that team remains undefeated and keeps doing what he's doing. Notre Dame beats USC. They'll get UNC into South Bend. Interesting non-conference game. BYU, the Independents, they get a win but no cover against Wazoo, who lost their head coach, who was fired for not getting the vaccine. They will face Virginia, who's having a nice year out of the ACC. So ACC coastal team, University of Virginia, heading to the beautiful Provo, Utah at LaVell Edwards Stadium. That's going to be an interesting game. Undefeated San Diego State hosts Fresno State. Fresno State having a good year. San Diego State trying to go undefeated. And now let's get to our local favorites, right? The Gophers should get to 7-2. They take care of business against Maryland. If it wasn't for the Bowling Green game, they could have been 8-1, right? Just take care of business against what? Northwestern as a favorite on the road. Is this a trap? Then you get Illinois. Then you get Iowa, right? Your run game is insanity, Gopher fans. I'm amazed. You just put freshmen in there and they're running for $120. You could plug anyone in there and they're going to get their run yards, rush yards. It's crazy. So it's interesting to do. Gophers having a good season. It could have been even better. Football Power Index, ESPN.com has you going 8-4. I guess you take that, right? That's solid. It's a good year. Losses at Iowa and home versus Wisconsin are those predicted. Hey, I say you could control your own destiny. I see Iowa and Wisconsin as susceptible. Those two teams face each other this weekend, as aforementioned.